God dang, man, what the hell did they do to that place? Shit. They're tumbling it down. Damn. It's just to show how things are really changing around this world. God dang. And things are different over here than they were back in the 90s, I tell ya. Pretty different. I used to love to go to this Burger King like in the 90s, 90s, like when I was working in my job. Over here in this area used to be a thrift store, but no more. I used to like to go to these thrift stores in these areas, but there's a thrift store that I'm gonna go to right now, and it's on this street. Down the street. I hung out here a lot because of my job, you know, the job that I had for 19 years. Oh, shit, stalled out the car. Because of the stick, because I was on the wrong gear, that's why. So, anyways. So, this is Central Street. Montclair. But I want to go to the thrift stores in Montclair. Well, actually, this is the first thrift store that I want to go to right now. Three-way thrift store. I used to like to go to this store in my days. Well, like in the recent years, like in the last 10 years or so. Or even in the last 5 years. Jesus. They're usually never hard to find. Okay, so that was thrift store number 1. Now I'm gonna go to thrift store number 2, which is on Mission or Holt. I think it's one of those. I think it's Holt Street, or which is coming up. I probably might remember once I see it. Evidently, like, I really cannot bring these old school cameras inside because it's just, I mean, that's something that I've never used to do back in my days because, you know, like, I mean, it's just too bulky to bring it inside. And then I would think that people would trip out on me too back in the day. So I know, I think it was on Holt Street, if I can remember. There's a Holt, and then I know there's the other one down the street over here. It's down there somewhere. I think it's on this street. Or it was Mission, I'm not sure. I think it's on this street, yes. Holt Street, this is Pomona area or Montclair or one of those areas. My phone though? My phone, it says, let's see. Well, anyways, Holt Plaza. Unless it closed down the place. And then that's a school right there. Monte Vista and Holt. I think that's an elementary school. This is the way the schools look as of this date. For volume. Yeah, this is what I remember. I wonder if that thrift store still even exists. I believe it does. Wow, the thrift store still exists. I used to love to go to that thrift store. You know, it's called Quality Thrift Store. That's what it's called. A mini truck. I hadn't seen one of those in a while. I tell you, I can remember these places. I mean, I used to like to go to the old 90s, you know. I've found a few things here before. Quality thrift store. They usually always have some pretty cool stuff in here. Oh, Nintendo 64. Oh, they even have a drone. They always have VHSs everywhere. Oh, it's just like what I have. You know, they have the videotapes all the time. They got plenty of VHSs all the time. Well, actually, these are not tapes. These are books. Nothing. Usually I don't find stuff here, but Okay, here you are. So, well, I didn't find anything in any of the two. Well, I mean, the first thrift store had some pretty interesting stuff, but it was things that I want, I don't need, or whatever. So, right now I'm going to go to the last thrift store of the day, and then I'm going to go home. Yeah. And, you know, these thrift stores, I used to go to these thrift stores, you know, like, in the middle 90s. Like, I mean, I used to go there a lot. And back in those times, I was finding, like, looking for things like Atari computer, or I was looking for anything that I liked, and Atari computers and the Commodore and Apple. I used to find all those. I used to find those left and right in the middle 90s, 1990 in particular. I was finding those left and right, and then the Atari computer without their hookup, like drugs. They used to sell them for like $3 each, and the disk drive also. They sell them for like $3 each. And then what else? And then, you know, I used to find, and then the Apple computer, I bought it for $25 for the whole setup. Yeah, I tell you. But now, like, now today, things like that I was talking about, now they're selling for big money on eBay. You know, like the things like that I was able to pick up for a few dollars back then, or where nobody wanted them because they were so out of date, and they were only 10 years old too. I mean, those, at the time when I first started going in there, you know, they were only 10 years old, the models, but now, I mean, people are trying to desperately get rid of things like that, but now, I mean, they sell for mega dollars on eBay now, those very things that I was picking up. But sadly, I sold them like a couple years later, because even me, I didn't want them myself, because I didn't really have any use for those, and I tried to sell them, but people just didn't want them back then, you know. Didn't want those things back then. So I actually had to give them away almost, or at least sell it for what I paid for it, you know, like maybe like the few bucks that I paid for it. Yeah. Oh well. I guess this is Ontario, I guess. The city of Ontario. Yeah, the thrift store is gonna be here. There it is. It's still here. And I'm just gonna park it right here. That thrift store still exists, and this is one of the thrift stores that I used to love to go to. Yeah. See, now I'm gonna make a video in the public. There's nothing illegal about doing this. So this is Holt Street near Central. And people probably, I don't know how, I mean, it's like, I think that some people trip out like in a more offensive way today than back then, you know. Look at that purple car. I don't think so. You know, VHSs are so easy to find, you know. Like movies on VHS is easy to find in thrift stores. It's really easy. It's easy to find a VHS. Look at all these Titanic copies. Cassettes. At this moment, I'm looking for some 80's cassettes, but those are becoming harder and harder to find. And then the records. What's in this box? Oh, I've never seen anything like it. Probably one of those Chinese things. Okay, here's some electronics. I always like to go to the electronics section. I just have this thing about electronics. I love looking at them, especially the old school stuff. That is totally old school phone right here. Shit, it is just like the phone that we used to have. Or it was similar. It looked pretty similar to that, but it was a cordless. And then these speakers. I wonder if some of these have any value or not. I mean, for all I know, any of these items can be super valuable and I won't even know it. But not likelihood it is. So, but anyway, it's a lot. I think this is what I see a lot of in here. Speakers. Keyboards. And nothing special in this one either. I still have to go through more of the store though. Okay, well this will be the last thrift store I go to. Nothing special. Okay, these are things that I found. It's like miscellaneous movies and then 2 brand new cassettes. Brand new VHS. So, I think I'm gonna go now, I guess. I'll probably end up paying like $5 for everything. I don't know what this is. Okay. So I picked up these cassettes for like $10 for everything. So yeah, so I picked up all these for everything that's in this bag for $10 for everything, including some cassettes which I want to use to record like for my car or some. Like these cassettes, I got them for 10 cents each, you know, but these new ones. And then I got a brand new VHS-C for $1. So this is the new school cameras versus the old school stuff. So this is my phone versus a old school camera. I got another thrift store right here. This is 7th Street at the corner of Mountain. Upland. This is Upland. Dang, I hate when people are there, you know. There's another thrift store by Mountain Street near the 10 freeway. So I'm gonna go here right now. See, this would be a good set of speakers right here. Shit. Oh, wow, that's all messed up though. I wouldn't buy these. I mean, I think they're good. But I think these are good kind of speakers, but the diaphragms are messed up though. Got vintage cassette holders like the ones that I got. A vintage TV. More. They're the easiest to find, I tell you. So anyways, a little traffic right now. (2018) May 3rd. Is old school versus new school. It's the parking lot at the mall. There's my car. This is old school versus new school. Well, I mean, it's always, I always feel uncomfortable no matter what year it is. Doesn't matter if it's 80s or right now. I've always felt kind of uncomfortable bringing out the camera, making videos of random things like this. That car, I shouldn't leave it on out there. It's old school versus new school. And then this is the old school. It's old school. I'm all recording on both cameras. I get to my car. It is old school versus new school. It's the parking lot at the mall. There's my car. This is old school versus new school. Well, I mean, it's always, I always feel uncomfortable no matter what year it is. Doesn't matter if it's 80s or right now. I've always felt kind of uncomfortable bringing out the camera, making videos of random things like this. That car, I shouldn't leave it on out there. There's old school versus new school. And then this is the old school. It's old school. I'm all recording on both cameras. I get to my car.